Looks like we got everybody on board this train here. We got our station clearance, so we'll do a quick recap on those safety rules. Remain seated at all times. Don't grab any plants because it's probably poison oak. And no smoking at any time. There is perfectly capable of pulling 5 cars up this mountain all by herself. And as you may have noticed, we've added a 6th car to the train today, so she needs a little bit of help. And that help comes in the form of our little diesel locomotive number 40 that's on the back of the train back here today.
Yeah, this number 40, thank you, number 40.
Now that number 40 back there is going to be giving us a little extra push on some of the steepest parts of this railroad. This practice is still very common in modern railroading. In modern railroading, the locomotive on the back of the train would be referred to as a DPU, standing for Distributed Power Unit, and would be controlled remotely from the locomotive on the front of the train. Now here at Roaring Camp, we don't have that kind of technology. So here, that DPU stands for Doug Powered Unit, because the guy back there running that little engine is Doug.
they stop the train?
I smell smoke.
Why did they stop the train?
Rebecca, it smells.
They had to wait for somebody to eat.
Okay, late people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rebecca, it smells smoke. It
So, yeah?
smells like smoke.
Yep, you've already said that.
I know. My bad.
Do you remember why?
What? Why?
What's it from?
Alright, let's
It's
start
from the.
last
It's from the.
floor.
I think it's from the gas
We'll
pedal.
probably go here in a minute.
Okay, yeah? Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Now, this railroad that we're riding on today is an authentic recreation of a logging railroad. It was never actually used for logging, though. So you might think of it as a giant one-to-one scale model railroad representing a logging railroad. Although the railroad itself here is not historic, the equipment certainly is. Old Tualabi up there happens to be the oldest operational high-spur locomotive in the world. She was built in 1899. She'll be 124 years old this year. Believe it or not, unlike most other steam locomotives that you might be familiar with, that's running at other tourist railroads, the Tualabi has never been retired. That is to say, she's never had a period in her life when she was a static display at a railroad museum or just sitting rusting away in a scrap pile somewhere. The Tualabi has been in continuous service since 1899. As a matter of fact, when she left the West Side Lumber Company to come to Roaring Camp in 1963, she loaded herself onto the flat car that brought her here. And when she arrived in Felton, she was steamed up and unloaded herself from that flat car, and she's been in service on this railroad ever since. She lets us know it sometimes, too. Now, the main thing that separates this railroad from an authentic logging railroad, if this were a real logging railroad, we'd be traveling through a desolate wasteland of tree stumps. But we're about to enter an old-growth, virgin redwood forest that has never been logged. Folks, the trees surrounding our train now are the tallest trees in the world. They're also some of the oldest, too. These are the California coastal redwoods, and scientifically these trees are known as Sequoia sempervirens, which translates to the ever-living redwood. These trees have an average height of 250 feet. They can grow to be 380 feet tall, and an average age of 750 years old. But these trees can live to be 2,200 years old, making them older than the calendar we currently use. But folks, the genetics on these trees are older than any calendar ever used. See, the main way that these trees reproduce is through their roots. You might notice as we travel through the forest today that you see a large tree surrounded by several smaller trees. These small nursing trees are all genetically identical to the mother tree and have sprouted up from her roots. The root systems on these trees can live to be 10,000 years old, making them the oldest living things on the planet Earth. Indian Creek trestle. This trestle is 42 feet tall and has the tightest radius curve of any wooden trestle on the entire North American continent. Now, if you missed any of that, don't worry, we'll be going over it again later. So remember to remain seated because it's incredibly hard to stick the landing from 42 feet in the air. Is for every 100 feet we travel forward, we're going to be rising 8.5 feet. Now, if you're suddenly getting flashbacks to your high school geometry class, there's a pretty good reason for that. That's because this is rise over run in real life. See? You never thought you were going to hear that term ever again after you graduated, but here we are. preferred road, but not so much as a blizzard ever crosses. So the next time you get woken up by a train passing through your neighborhood in the middle of the night, don't get mad at the engineer for blowing the whistle. He's just trying to keep his job. And now at this time, folks, I'm going to be passing up through the train here to check your tickets. So please have those tickets out and ready for me.
Somebody has a ticket?
good. Are you interested to see them?
For my family.
Folks, we're now approaching an area of this railroad known as Spring Canyon. This was once the site of our famous corkscrew trestle system that we used to gain elevation to get us to the top of Bear Mountain. Originally, the train would have made a 360-degree loop off to the left-hand side up here, crossing over a lower bridge, and then loop back over the top of itself on a high bridge in a corkscrew fashion. Unfortunately, in 1976, we had a really terrible fire up here that completely destroyed these two bridges and left us with a really interesting problem. We happened to be running trains that day, and we had a train stranded at the top of the mountain with no way to get her back down. So what we did was to build a system of switchbacks, a very common practice on logging railroads, so it fit right in here at Roaring Camp. What's going to happen up here? We're going to pull forward to clear a switch that's currently ahead of our train. I'm going to get off on the rear of the train, find the switch behind us, and then we're going to back you up the switchback. When we get to the top, our fireman's going to get off the locomotive up there, find another switch ahead of our train, and then we're going to continue climbing in the forward direction. Now, in 1976, here at Roaring Camp, we were fairly confident in the abilities of our steam locomotives, so we didn't take too many measurements. 6 months later, when construction was complete, we found out that we had accidentally built the steepest narrow gauge railroad grade in North America, coming in at 10.5%, and we're going to be backing you up that grade here momentarily.
It would be like a movie.
Oh, look it over here.
Just hold it in one spot so that I can just scooch of it later. Just scooch of it later. Just take a picture from there like I did. Well, I don't want to mess
As
it up.
we back you up the switchback here today, remember to remain seated and just listen to the sounds that old Tuolumne's going to make up there as she backs us up this steep grade.
It's probably going to be like about an
This is
hour.
one of the only places in the entire world you can hear a steam locomotive work this hard.
Yeah.
Right now.
Getting ready for repair. She was working on the West Side Lumber Company in Tuolumne, California, so
This is going to be like about
That's
an hour
awesome.
long or something like that. Yeah. This would be like an hour long.
Well, we made it. Welcome to Hallelujah Junction. We call it that here because the first time we tried to bring a train up this grade, we didn't make it.
Oh no.
It actually took 9 attempts to get the first train up this grade, and when we finally made it, the engineer yelled hallelujah, and the name stuck. Now that name still holds true to this day, because even today, we don't always make it up here in one try, so your engine crew put on a great show for you today, got you up here in one shot.
Good job, Doug.
As we pull you out of Hallelujah Junction here today, I'd like to point out the sandstone wall on the right-hand side of the train. I'd like to point that out because most people take it for granted. In all seriousness, though, I do point this out because we see it here. Because millions of years ago, this location was at the bottom of the ocean. In fact, our track crew still digs up petrified seashells here when they're doing track work. Now, also, for those of you on the left-hand side of the train here, you're going to have an excellent view of that switchback system and see all the elevation we just gained. But for those on the right, don't worry. You'll be getting the same exact view when we turn our train around and come back down the mountain today. Put that grade that we backed this train up into perspective for you. A normal standard gauge railroad like Union Pacific, Amtrak, or Caltrain, well, they consider a 2.5% grade to be absolutely extreme. But we just backed this train up a 10.5% grade. And that locomotive up there at the front of the train is 124 years old. Now the little number 40 on the back of the train back there, she's no spring chicken either. She was built in 1958 by Plymouth for the Kaiser Steel Company in Fontana, California. She worked there until about the early 1970s when she came here. The most exciting thing about the little railroad that she operated on at that steel mill was that it had one curve. It was completely flat, and her entire job was to push 2 flat cars back and forth between 2 buildings. Now, usually when a locomotive retires and comes to a tourist railroad, that's a nice, easy gig. But we worked that little engine harder than Kaiser ever did. Guys up in the cab of that locomotive up there today. On the right-hand side, we've got Steven. He's your locomotive engineer. He's the one controlling the speed of the train, getting us up the mountain and blowing the whistle. And on the left-hand side of the cab up there today, we've got George. He's your fireman. His job is to keep that fire hot, keep water in that boiler, and make the steam for Steven to use to get us up the mountain. Now, speaking of that fire that George is making up there, you might notice that you don't see any really thick black clouds of smoke coming out of that locomotive. And that's because we don't burn coal or wood as a fuel here. We actually burn recycled motor oil up in that locomotive up there. And that's why here at Roaring Camp, we thank you for doing the regularly scheduled maintenance on your vehicles. Every time you get an oil change, we get more fuel for our locomotives. We already talked about Doug back there, running the little number 40 back there for us today. He's the engineer of the 40, giving us a little push there. And the fourth member of your train crew today, the conductor, that's me. A lot of people don't know this, but tour we've got up here. But before he did that, he brought his wife up here to look around. Now she took one look at all the beautiful trees you've been seeing today and said something to the effect of, Joseph, it'd be a shame if you cut all these trees down. There'd be nothing left for our kids to see up here. And on that day in 1867, something truly remarkable happened. Something doesn't even happen every day in this day and age. He listened to his wife. Thanks to Anna Welch, this became the very first preserved redwood forest in the entire world. But you're probably also wondering, why is there a railroad here? And to answer that question, we have to go back to the year 1958. At that time, a man named Norman Clark came to this area from Los Angeles. And believe it or not, he liked trains. And he had this dream of starting a tourist railroad to preserve steam locomotives, which at that time were being scrapped. And he parked his car at the Santa Cruz Beach boardwalk. And walked 7 miles up the Southern Pacific Railroad tracks from Santa Cruz to Felton. And he decided that this would be the perfect place to start that dream. And he asked the Southern Pacific to sell him the tracks from Santa Cruz to Felton. And they refused. So he said, fine, I'll build my own railroad. This railroad. And it was a great success. But he never gave up on the dream of owning the line from Santa Cruz to Felton. And finally, in 1984, the Southern Pacific gave in and sold us those tracks. That's where we run the Santa Cruz Beach train. Unfortunately, though, Norman didn't live long enough to see the first beach train run. He died just a few months before the first train made it to Santa Cruz. Today, his daughter, Lonnie Clark, is in charge here. She's our CEO. Roaring Camp is still family operated. And with Lonnie in charge, it makes Roaring Camp one of just 2 railroad companies in the entire country with a female CEO. Now, she's also fully qualified and works as a steam locomotive fireman, too. She learned how to do that as a teenager behind her dad's back. That's another story.
Yeah, we were reading back the class. Yeah, we were really good in and out, and then yeah, I'm not getting this till 5, so I know. I told Aiden my business graduation. That's like figured out. I was like, yeah, I figured it out now. I'm coming in at 5 or 5:30.
And now, coming up on the right-hand side, folks, you're going to see a set of railroad tracks that kind of take off into the woods. If you're wondering where those tracks go, well, they go all the way to Hawaii. I'm just kidding, it's physically impossible. This is actually what's known as a balloon loop. This is how we're going to get our train turned around up here today. We're going to make a full loop around the top of this mountain, come out on the other side, and begin our descent back down from Roaring Camp. Before that happens, though, we're going to make a brief stop up here at the top of Bear Mountain. And once we do come to the full and complete stop and you hear 1 toot on the whistle, if you want to step off the train and stretch your legs, feel free to do so. But please return to the train when you hear 4 toots on the whistle, because that is Morse code for the letter H. And that means, hurry up or you're going to miss this train. If you wait too long, you're going to hear 2 toots on the whistle. That's Morse code for the letter I. And that means I'm leaving you behind.
Leave you behind.
Now, if you will be stepping off the train up here, folks, just remember the #1 rule of Bear Mountain. Don't touch any plants. Because about 85% of the beautiful green stuff growing out of the ground up here is poison oak. And if you do accidentally touch some of it, it does not offer instant gratification, but within about 4 hours, you'll start to develop a rash, which will eventually spread to your entire body and last 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah, don't touch any plants.
No, I'm not touching.
welcome to Bear Mountain, folks.
Yes. Is it time to get off the train? Is it time to get off the train?
It's only 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
Yes.
It's gonna be about
Yes.
We have 8 minutes to start.
Guys, wait, listen. You get off the train, absolutely do not touch anything.
Yeah. Remember, no plants. Don't touch anything, especially the plants.
I'm saying,
Hey, Nathan, let's go walk.
I would say,
You get magic powers. It's itching me.
Yeah.
Well, don't.
You're not gonna get magical anywhere, but yeah. When we get back on, though, you move back over. Because me and you are right there.
No, I'm not touching any plants.
You won't get magical powers. Yeah, well, we're not in it.
I hate In-N-Out so much.
Wait, who wants magical powers?
So we're gonna get back on the train in a little bit?
We're gonna get on a train in a little bit less than 8 minutes.
Okay, yeah? So I can keep, yeah.
Yeah.
So I can, so I'm not gonna turn the thing off. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nothing.
they'll remember the. Who took the horn for us? Why?
I gotta get this whole thing, yes. Yep. Yeah? I'm just looking. Yeah? Yes, yep, yeah. I'm not gonna touch it until I just be quiet, shut up. Yeah? This? You're not my boss, so you just be quiet. Shut up, okay? No. No. I can't be in it. No, I can't. Not right now. No. No, I'm doing what I'm doing. Well, I can't turn this off. When the train ride's over and then we don't go back on, then I'll turn it off. That's when I'll turn it off. I'm not doing it. I'm gonna do that for a while. I don't know how long. This is gonna be like a really long video. This is gonna be like an hour and a half. I thought it was gonna be like an hour, but now I'm thinking it's an hour and a half. Yeah, it's just the video's getting longer and longer. Not right now. No. Yeah, yeah. Yeah? In this video, I'm just taking a video of the whole thing. I don't want to mess it up. Because then I wouldn't be a good photographer. I don't want to mess it up. No, I don't. I have to pee. I can hold it though. Because I have to do this. Because I want to watch this video on TV. This is gonna be a movie, yeah, for sure. That was just gonna be like a video, but it's gonna be a movie. Or even a live stream. It's not a good video because I don't know how the technical stuff. I don't know how long the video is gonna be because I don't know. I keep saying it keeps getting longer and longer, so I have to ask. Because I don't know how long the video is going to be.
Oh, you don't want to take the
Yeah, not right now. I'm busy right now. I don't want to mess it up. I'm trying not to mess it up, you guys. rolling. Have the chills as well. Yeah. That's what I asked. I don't want to mess up the video. So I want to get the video of the whole thing. So I got a lot of footage so far. So far, so good. I don't want to mess it up. No, I'm not going to do that. You never know what could happen. Yeah, don't move. Yeah, no moving. I have to stay in one place. So I don't mess anything up.
Enjoying the trip so far? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is 18. Yeah?
Not right now because I'm doing this. I don't care about that. We'll just get into the next
Getting some good videos?
Yes, yeah. How long is the train ride going to be for?
I'm sorry?
How long is the train ride going to be for? 'Cause I want to know how many videos.
I'm not quite sure how long it took to get up here, so probably about the same time to get back.
Same time to get back?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay? Yeah? Okay?
Are you liking the train?
Yes? Yeah. Yeah.
He's taking photos.
Probably about the same to get back. Yeah. Good.
Might be about to.
This video might be 2 hours long or something. I don't know. I'm not gonna go right now. I can hold it because I need to get this whole thing. I have to get it all in one. Yep. I have to get it all in one shot. Yeah. So I can have a title for it. I don't want to do part 1 and part 2. I don't want to do that. No. I just want to do it on one day. It's gonna have to be put up on Sunday or something or Monday. I don't know. Today's a Wednesday.
Like two nieces, they have.
I have.
She has like.
This
She has.
And these are small ones.
My hand's gonna be tired
Sister has 2 kids.
after recording for so long.
Yeah, so you know this lady?
But the
Everyone
foothills
consider
of
like
the Sierras,
big
big mountains, Tahoe and all that. There's a place up there called Big Creek. And it's 3 times. It's like 250 high.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. What I have to say is that
Older than me?
Don't push any buttons. Charge my phone when you get in the car.
But for all of a sudden, they have all kinds of when I get home, there's a place that we buy
I do. They're beautiful response.
No, just eyes right now, okay?
Have you ever been to such a beautiful place?
Yeah, I know. It's my second time here.
So we need to go back. Yes. We'll go right. I can't do that right now because I'm making the video. Most of I can't do right now.
That means come back.
Oh, yeah, the 4
Let's go back.
I've got Ty.
Let's head back. We have to get back on.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Let's get back on. Yeah. 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 Jerry, let's go. Jerry, let's go. Yeah, let's go back to the train. Yep.
Yeah, I see her. She's right there.
I don't want to mess this up because then, yeah, that would be bad if I mess up this video. I wouldn't know what to do. Yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen though. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I don't think that's good. What side should I go on? Well, I don't want to mess this up. No, I don't. I don't know what I'm going to do if I mess it up. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Yes?
I never ran since.
You gonna sit on the other side? Because the train's gonna swap, so you'll see the different things on the other side now.
On the other side? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes? Yeah, I'll sit on the other side then, yeah.
Yeah, go on and pass the phone.
Yes, yeah. Don't mess anything up. I'm gonna need some space though this time because, yeah, Nathan keeps trying to, yeah.
It's a Bluetooth keyboard and I connected it to my iPad and I
Just wanna know, just, okay. Sit down.
Can you scoot down a little bit?
But, yes? Give me space though. Don't get my personal space. No one's not my personal space.
You were on this side, right? Can you come back to your same seat?
ALS2 is here, so it's just
You're mentioning it would be on your side.
he's
Is
waiting
that
for
Jose
it.
passing?
Yeah.
7, 8,
Yes.
9, 10, 11, 12.
That's what Jose
I
said.
care about everybody else can fend for themselves.
How do you guys get on?
Be quiet.
Did you count yourself?
Yeah.
Jerry? Did you count you?
Everybody be quiet.
Wait, this is way too cool. We need this in class. That's awesome.
Yes, everybody's good.
Why can't I send messages? Cause you're
There is. Almost an hour long. This is almost
I get 2
Don't get
bars.
too close to me. Don't mess anything up.
I have 3 now.
Yep, I can grab the straight one.
Can you hear me now?
I have 8 degrees and
Stop.
Stop what?
Pause. That's okay. That's Nathan. That's Brad's phone. You can do that.
Yeah, that's mine. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Are you good, Jeremy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So, yeah. So, I got a quick question. Do you think the redwood forest would be on the left and also on the right?
Yep. We all know.
Okay. Yes, we are.
Was it fun?
Yeah.
Right. I took my nephew there for their
All right, folks, before we get rolling here, just a quick safety reminder. The downhill trip on this railroad is just a little bit bumpier and jerkier than the uphill trip. So remember to remain seated at all times. We'll be on our way.
Davis
Davis, okay.
and Winter.
I think downhill's faster, right? I think so, yeah. It's gonna be like an hour and a half.
Yeah, I live in Bakersfield, California, which is about 5 hours.
Oh, wow.
They live
Where is Davis
So,
and
I've been recording for like an hour now.
They live in Florida.
This is longer than I thought. This train ride is longer than I thought. This train ride is longer than I thought. It's better.
I bet you
Now,
are.
once we pull around this balloon loop that we're on here, we're going to make a brief stop to line a switch ahead of our train. And once we get rolling again, you're going to see me kneeling down on the left-hand side of the train, looking under each of these cars as they pass me. Don't be offended if I don't wave at you as the train goes by. I'm just making sure all the brakes are still there and that everything looks good before we just send them out today.
Good idea.
Or just get a train, pick it up, and walk back down.
I hope that mother doesn't die on us. Going downhill
going downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're recording it to go straight down. Yeah. Oh, I'm going
Yes,
under the
ma'am.
van.
I'm ready for lunch. I'm hungry.
You're watching a video.
Are we late for lunch, by the way?
We're not late.
Oh, it's not the.
We're gonna have it late already. Like we already knew we were gonna have it later.
Because my mom texted me and trying to call me.
Yeah, and stuff like that.
I told her we're gonna get in till 5:30.
So like I said, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care about that. Please stop.
Well, they are checking on me, Brad.
Okay, yeah.
They should call me.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's
They
good.
really should call me because I miss them.
Yeah, I don't miss my family that much. Not really.
My mom doesn't work. Doesn't work. My
Yeah.
dad does. What's up, Wednesday? What's up?
You having fun? Yeah.
We'll see. We'll have fun. We'll see. We'll see. We're going downhill now.
Downhill.
So, see, we'll downhill. We'll see. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, okay. What?
West side. What is it?
What side?
West side junction. West side junction.
After the
Run, Forrest, run.
Yeah.
So that thing should be behind. Where do you get that rock? What? That rock.
Oh, I got it. My parents got it for Christmas a long time ago. It's called Fitbit.
Yeah.
It shows me time and date, and it shows how many steps I walked.
That's kind of nice. And your blood pressure too.
Yeah, but I don't have.
Is it gonna?
It's not as accurate.
Now about this time, folks, you might be curious about the types of brakes we use to slow down and stop our train. I know I would be. Well, we use a system here called the Westinghouse automatic air brake. And this is actually the reverse of what you might think an air brake system is, in that we actually use the air pressure to release the brakes. This makes it a fail-safe system. So if we're traveling down this mountain today, this train breaks in two, the air lines between the cars would instantly be severed, the air pressure would bleed off, and the brakes would automatically go into emergency, bringing this train to a stop, and we wouldn't have a roller coaster on our hands. Now this system was invented by George Westinghouse in 1869, but railroads being railroads, they were very reluctant to accept this newfangled technology, and didn't fully do so until 24 years later, when the federal government passed the Railroad Safety Appliances Act, requiring that all trains be equipped with the Westinghouse automatic air brake. In fact, this is still the same system used on all modern trains today. So if you're wondering how we slowed trains down before we had air brakes, if you look to the ends of your cars, you might notice a steering wheel looking device. These are hand brakes. And these days, they're just used as parking brakes when we put our train away. But in the old days, there were people on these trains called brakemen. And when they got a special whistle signal, they would run through the train, turning these wheels to slow the train down. But in those days, they didn't have open-air passenger cars. These were boxcars. These guys were running across the rooftops of boxcars, jumping between the cars at 40 and 50 miles an hour, turning these wheels to slow the train down. And that made railroad brakemen the second most dangerous career in the world at that time, behind coal mining. They lost an average of 10 men per week back then. They left that part up. They wanted it, and they were looking for new guys too.
Nathan, what are you doing, Nathan?
And now it's the right-hand side of the train's turn to see that switchback system and the burned-out trusses. We return to the switchback to continue our descent back down to Soaring Camp.
I'm getting animal fries and a hamburger.
That's disgusting. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Wait, why is it stopping again? Oh, they did say they were gonna stop it. I forgot. Yeah.
What are you doing for dinner, Sadie? We're going to In-N-Out for dinner.
Remember to remain seated, folks, as we're now backing you down the steepest narrow gauge railroad grade in North America.
Yeah. Oh, that's why it stops, yes.
Oh, backwards? I didn't know what we are doing.
Yeah, me neither. This video is probably gonna be like an hour and a half. Probably, yeah.
Molly's starting. Your boyfriend?
But hopefully we're almost back to work. I think I got the straight right, yeah. Recording for all time.
Well, my boyfriend called me.
So I mentioned before that we had a really terrible fire at this location back in 1976, but if you look around, you might notice that we still have trees growing in this location, and there's a couple really good reasons for that. First is that redwood bark
That's when Anna
contains
was born.
tannic acid. This makes it extremely resilient in fires, also makes it resistant to bugs and rot. But the other reason that you see trees in this location, particularly the smaller, younger trees, is that fire allows these trees to reproduce the other way that they know how to do so, and that is through their seeds. Under normal conditions in a forest like this, there's so much brush and redwood duff on the forest floor that it makes seed germination almost impossible. But when the fire rips through here and takes out all this brush, all of a sudden, these seeds can germinate and we get all kinds of little baby redwoods sprouting up. Now this adds to the genetic diversity of this forest, which is very important, because if all the trees were genetically identical and a disease were to enter the forest that the trees happen to be susceptible to, it could potentially wipe out the entire forest.
Yeah!
No, so if you look at all the little skinny trees growing up around the burned out trestle here, they all sprouted up around 1977 after that fire. Gives you a pretty good idea of just how slow these trees grow. The coast redwood tree gains most of its vertical height in the first 100 years of growth, and after that, they just get fatter. Just like the conductor on this train.
My hand's gonna be tired after this, after recording.
I'm gonna be tired. I didn't sleep well.
Hey, Sadie.
You might have also noticed that we were
Yeah,
traveling through the forest today.
Hey,
You saw some redwood trees with hollowed out holes in their bases.
Yeah,
These are called goose
there's a
pens.
lot of plants,
This
right?
tells
I
us
know, right?
is that
Yeah.
at some point in that tree's life,
Yeah.
it has been on fire.
Are you
Fire
excited to go
burned
back
so
down?
hot, they got
Are you excited to go back
redwood
down?
bark to the hardwood at the center of the tree,
So,
burned out some of that hardwood,
Yeah, I
and
like it
created
too.
that goose pen. Now, in most cases, these trees are alive and well, but these are called goose pens because the Ohlone Native American tribe that once inhabited this area would put their geese into the hollowed out holes in the base of these trees, put a rock over the hole, and protect their geese from the fox, mountain lions, and other animals that inhabit this forest.
Cool, and then we came here, right? Yeah, so I'm still getting paid, but I'm still getting paid. Okay, alright, love you. Love you too. Yeah, I text you when we get on the road.
typically very good at naming things. And we're now approaching the very imaginatively named location called Meeting Trees.
Oh, lady?
Now, if you look up at those trees leaning over this train up there, that's not really something you see every day.
Not really.
I do, though. Those trees haven't leaned over any more than they were when we first laid these tracks through here in the late 1950s. But as those trees continue to grow and get fatter, about every 10 to 15 years or so, we have to push our tracks further and further over into that hillside. Because here in this forest, the trees have the right of way, not the train. That was an earthquake that caused those trees to lean like that about 100 years ago. They're still alive and well, though.
Yep. In and out. For dinner. Second dinner.
Disgusting. That's disgusting.
Huh?
That's disgusting. In and out.
Well, that's for having.
Okay, that's sad for me.
Have milkshakes.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I look so bad. I look like Bill from Violet the First.
I got some buddies that work there.
That's why I'm so
I
fat.
love it now. That's my favorite.
That's why I'm fat. I don't look good. I look good. That's why I'm so fat. That's why I'm so fat.
This is our last car.
Yes, Kaya.
Whoa.
Now, once we cross back over the trestle up here today, folks, on the left-hand side of the train, you're going to see another set of railroad tracks over there. That's our standard gauge railroad, the Santa Cruz Big Trees and Pacific, where we run the Santa Cruz Beach train. We'll take you from the Redwood to the Pacific Ocean and the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Now, I'm actually a locomotive engineer over on that side of the world. If you ever come back and ride that train, I might be the one up in the engine running her. Don't be too scared, though. I try to do a good job. Now, that's a 3-hour round trip over there. It takes an hour to get to the beach. There's an hour layover and an hour return trip. Or you can take the morning trip out of Roaring Camp and take the evening train back to the beach and get the 5-hour layover and get really good and sunburned over there.
That's why I'm so fat. I'm like Bill from Violet the First.
What?
I'm like Bill from Violet the First.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm fat like him. Yes.
Are you coming tomorrow?
Yes.
To school?
Maybe yes. I will be here tomorrow.
I would say maybe.
What?
Maybe.
Yeah. He did have his overnight trip.
Jessica asked me if I was coming tomorrow. And I said maybe.
Yeah. It's an overnight trip. Yeah.
Oh, wait, this is my
Now, coming
trip.
up here, folks, we're going to have a real show for you. Just as soon as we come out of the woods up here by our mill pond, our fireman is going to do what's known as a blowdown procedure. This is done to clean the sediment out of our boiler. Because if you've ever boiled an entire pot of water down to nothing, like I did last night, you'd know of it, there's sediment left in the bottom of that pot. And this procedure cleans the sediment out of our boiler. What you're going to see is a huge cloud of steam coming out of the left-hand side of the locomotive. And again, that's going to happen just as soon as we get rolling again after this brief stop.
You're slowing down.
Again, it's like the third time going on that.
Good steam, right? Yeah.
Why do they keep stopping? It's annoying. Over and over again. This bill's gonna be like 2 hours. Maybe possibly even 2.5 hours. I don't know.
Sorry, guys. What?
Yeah, we picked over here. We're trying to get to that football thing we went in.
This is probably an hour and a half, something like that. I don't know yet. Don't be down there, yeah. Yeah, what was that?
That was Steve.
I got that video.
Wow.
That's a good thing. That was funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, folks, you might think we're out of the woods now, but we've just reached the most dangerous part of our trip today. The return to civilization. We hope you've enjoyed your trip with us. We do ask that you remain seated until we come to a full and complete stop at the depot, and you hear 1 toot on the whistle. If you enjoyed yourselves, folks, my name is Kevin, and this has been the Redwood Forest Steam Train. If you didn't, my name's really not that important. This has been Amtrak. Thank you for riding.
Oh, sorry, Jose.
This is gonna be like an hour and a half. Don't stop it yet.
Also, folks, to answer the number 1
Yeah, that was
and
fun.
number 2 questions here at Roaring Camp, restrooms are in this red building near the rear of our train here.
Yeah, I have to use the restroom. Yeah. Is this it? Oh, yeah.
Once again, folks, please remain seated until we come to a full and complete stop in the depot and you hear 1 toot on the whistle. We do have to line up that old steam locomotive perfectly with that water tower. It takes a couple of tries sometimes.
Just yet. Not ready yet.
Are we stopping? I heard that whistle, so.
Yeah.
There it is. Welcome back, folks.
Yeah?
Are we? Hey, Allison?
Is that it?
Is that it?